The movie Iyalode, I would say it has kind of a scattered storyline. At some point, I was really confused. As in the first 30 minutes in the cinema, I was, that sand god. That's the only thing that scared me in the movie, truthfully. In fact, the liters of blood used in this movie, if it was fuel, I'm sure it can fuel the entire Nigeria. The clean knives wasn't working for me. You can't tell me that you're fighting, but there's no blood in your knife. Like how? So here's the thing, you want to be in the character of a warrior, but you don't look it. In this epic movie, guess what? There was an aeroplane flying. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nollywood Insiders. As always, it is a pleasure to be here. I remain your host, Nigerian Abraham. Today we are talking about an epic Nollywood movie called Iyalode. Iyalode is a Toyin Abraham's production in collaboration with Film One. The story borders around the life of a woman warrior. She is the person you go to meet if you have an enemy you want to fight. She has her army who fights alongside with her. She fights battles, wins them. The movie Iyalode, I would say it has kind of a scattered storyline where you get to see so many things happen. There are no explanations to them, and they just leave it and go on to the next one. I was watching the movie and you see the King's Palace, there is a fight, there is a problem, and then you see Iyalode, she has a problem where she is with her warriors. Different things are happening at different times. At some point, I was really confused. As in the first 30 minutes in the cinema, I was yet to understand what Iyalode was about. We'll delve into that much later. The costume department of this movie was not giving what I wanted it to give, especially for the protagonist, which is the main character in this movie, Ashabi Ajikaka, played by phenomenal Toyin Abraham. I feel like she wasn't dressed as a warrior as the movie depicts, and I don't know why. There were shouty colors like yellow, which is not something you see on a warrior. There were some designs in the costume that was not giving warrior vibes at all. The thing is, if you're going to dress someone up as a warrior, it should be dull colors, because first things first, these people go into the forest to fight. They don't need to look shabby and attract people, get people to see them before they strike. I understand that the designers wanted to style her up, but that styling was not styling. But then I love the costume of the sand god. It was beautiful. I don't know how they were able to come up with that. It was lovely. Seeing the movie in the cinemas, I knew it's an epic movie. I was scared that I was going to be scared, because epic movies most times it comes into your head with the pictures and stuff you're seeing. But that sand god, that's the only thing that scared me in the movie, truthfully. And I feel like it's because they did a great job with the costume. The way the sand, was molded, and the human. In fact, when he disappears, there's some leftover of sands in the room where he appeared. I really loved that creativity. I don't know who worked on that sand god, but that was a lovely job. Well done. I mentioned that the storyline was a bit scattered. I was finding it difficult to understand where exactly this movie was going from the beginning to the very end. There were some scenes that were short, and it wasn't explained to us the essence of this scene in this movie. There was no backstories. There was basically nothing attached to the movie. At some point, you'll be wondering, is it about the female warrior, or is it about the king, or is it about the Iyalode title, or is it about a gorilla looking human being? The story was basically talking about so many things, and I had the patience to watch it till the very end, thinking they would boil everything down, they would connect every one of these different stories together at the end. But hey, nothing was done. For instance, there was a scene where in Ashabi Ajikaka's camp, where she has her warriors, practicing and stuff, there was a guy who died at the stream, and then she brought him to her camp, did some incantations, and then he came back alive. Everybody was surprised. He joined her team, started singing with them, practicing with them, and she fell in love with him. That scene tells us that she wanted to give him all of her powers so that he can be more powerful than her because he wants to be the man over her and stuff. They tell us, oh, he was sent to her, he's a bad person, he's a gorilla, and then she ended up killing him. My question is, who is he? Why was he sent to her? What was his aim? And who sent him? There was no backstory. And guess what? When he dies, that's basically the end of that part in the entire storyline. The war that was fought at the beginning of the movie, we don't know who is fighting who, as in what community is fighting what community. We know that this is a warrior movie, a movie where we want to see fight, wars and stuff, but there should be a bit of a backstory so that your viewers don't get confused, because for the first 30 minutes, I was confused. Different stories. You think you're understanding this, and then they take you to the king's palace. You're trying to understand the king's palace, then they take you to a woman who is trying to be an Iyalode's title holder, and from there she becomes a bad person, and the entire thing just wasn't adding up. Something else I saw in the movie, which I know that a certain amount of people would not really see it, is the fact that in this epic movie, guess what? There was an aeroplane flying. There's a drone view of the sky and stuff, and then there was actually an aeroplane flying. So my question is, the person who edited the video, it's not a bad thing to have an aeroplane. We know that this is dated way back, back into the epic times, but we know it's being shot in present time. So it's understandable to have an aeroplane mistakenly come into your shot. But you as the video editor, why didn't you see something like that? How didn't you know that scene shouldn't have appeared at all? It's crazy. And then when the video was done and it was sent to the producer or whatever, how is it that nobody saw it? I think that somebody saw it, but just felt that, a lot of people won't really look at it and some people will not notice it. But the truth is, if you're shooting a movie, you're trying to tell a story. I keep saying it, the reason why you get costume, production managers, set designers, art directors, whatever it is in your movie, is because you want to make us believe that these things are real. If you're shooting an epic movie, you want us to believe that this actually happened in the epic times. So a shot that has an airplane in it should not come through in your epic movie. That was a production oversight. The protagonist of this movie, Toyin Abraham, her character's name, Ashabi Ajikaka. So here's the thing, you want to be in the character of a warrior, but you don't look it. You don't have a muscle build-up. There are no special effects on the muscles if you don't want to build it by yourself. You're looking like a normal human being walking down the street, just that you are dressed up, which wasn't even good as a warrior, and then you're holding a knife and with all the crazy things on your hair. That's not enough to make us believe that you are a warrior. For instance, the movie The Woman King, starring Viola Davis, I did a research and it says that she had to build that muscle for months before the actual production. As in 5 to 6 months before the production, she's going to the gym every single day, building muscle. Not because she likes it, but because she has to look like a warrior. If she's going to be the woman king, it has to show. It just wasn't given for me. It really wasn't given. Even if she didn't want to get it, special effects, 3D, something, just make it look like an actual warrior. I don't know if they're planning for a part 2, but some things happened, it wasn't explained, no backstory was given. For instance, how was Oyedumade found? She was supposed to be lost in the forest, and then the next scene, she's found. As in how? What happened? Is there a way they used to communicate in the epic times? I do not know. And during the fight, there were clean knives. How can you be in a war? You're showing us that these people are, using these knives to kill, cut, and blood is everywhere. In fact, the liters of blood used in this movie, if it was fuel, I'm sure it can fuel the entire Nigeria. The blood was just everywhere, but the clean knives wasn't working for me. You can't tell me that you're fighting, but there's no blood in your knife. Like how? So what then are you doing? Everybody's just sprinkling clean knives. Even the protagonist, the main character herself, you cut someone and then your knife is still clean. We know that you didn't really cut the person in real life, but this is a movie and you're trying to make us believe that you did. So as they are spraying the blood on the ground in the screen for us to see that, oh, this person was caught. Please spray the blood on the knife too. Make the thing reach everybody. Generally, Iyalode is a good one if you love epic movies. I would always say that because epic movies is not the times that we are in presently, it will always be a good thing to see because everyone wants to see, oh, how was it in the olden days, especially with the costume and the core Yoruba language that is being spoken and stuff like that. And just like I asked in our previous review, aside from the usual Yoruba epic movies that we have in the cinemas, we want to have epic Igbo films, epic films, epic Hausa films, all that. Nigeria has about 250 ethnic groups. We want to have epic movies that portray the culture of all the diversities that we have in Nigeria. I will be rating the movie Iyalode a solid 4/10. Just like I said, the story was scattered. I could barely understand where the structure of this storyline was focused on because it told us a lot of different stories. And I felt that if they had used all of those times to just focus on the main character, which is Ashabi Ajikaka, just tell us her life, her story, focus strictly on her, it would have been a better movie. And I feel like the producers of this movie should take that into consideration.